Hi, this is the first video in a series of video that I'm creating for corporate video production. So all the nuances of a corporate video production and why you would even be interested in corporate video production. So just to give you a background of who I am, my name is Peter Kam. I am a corporate video producer for 25 years. I've worked in the Bay Area for that long. So all my clients are tech companies. So some of the biggest names that you've heard of, Apple, Google, and some other smaller companies such as like Cohesity and Cribble and A10 Networks. And so I've been producing videos for these companies since 1999. That's and I actually worked at Apple full time as a video producer, and then I branched out later as a independent contractor, independent video producer. I've also worked in television, did some local TV shows, also had a little bit of stint with Current TV, and then they transitioned into Al Jazeera Network. So I was one of the editors for those guys. Not a full-time editor for them. I actually haven't worked full-time since 2004 when I left Apple. I was a full-time employee at Apple, left Apple, worked back there as a contractor video editor and freelancer. And so then I worked at various other companies as an editor, but as a producer, I started that in 2010 when one of my freelance clients, they actually asked me, so I was editing videos for them and they really liked me. So they said, hey, we have a project coming up and we'd like you to produce this. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm an editor. I don't produce. And he's like, you should be able to do it. Just talk to the client. And I said, okay, all right. So I did. And in 2010, I did my first producing as a video producer for that company, and that company was Juniper Networks. It's still Juniper Networks. I still do some work for these guys. Today is an introduction of who I am, what I do, and my process of video production. And if you have any questions, please put it in the comment section, and I'm happy to answer them all. And you could find me on LinkedIn. I've been on for a while, so Peter Kam, Mystic Production, that's who I am. So I go through a company. Mystic Production is my production company. And like I said, I specialize in the Bay Area tech companies. So for some reason, I specialize in routers. Juniper Network happened to be a major client, and then I branched out to other router companies. But certainly I do, like I said, I do stuff for Google. Like this year, I'm actually going to edit for edit some Google projects, and that's coming up in a few weeks. So I'm excited for that. That's fun, always fun to do. So I'm excited to start this journey of a YouTube channel. I've always been a little hesitant to do it because I kind of had almost like imposter syndrome. I'm like, God, am I really the best person for this? And I'm like, wait a minute, because you see some of the stuff out there like Imam Ghazi, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm just blown away by the stuff that they're doing. And I'm like, Jesus, why would people watch someone like me? But then I realized, hey, wait a minute, there's a different avenue of video production that's not such effects driven, So I said, okay, then I should just create a channel and just talk to people who might be interested in corporate video production. I mean, there are some advantages of corporate video production. We can go through that later, but just to give you a highlight overview, it's very stable. The money is very, very good, actually. If you have really good clients, when you do a project for them, there's a set rate. And like I said, I'll go over that later. And they always pay. You don't have to worry about them not paying because they will pay. Most people are on net 30. So that's really great. And once you're established in a company, then you'll find it very lucrative. I didn't have the luxury of not getting paid and working for free. That's what the steps that you need to take as a video producer or someone in video production in order to work for, say, like Hollywood, or for a bigger production such as that, even like music videos and so forth, which I was never interested in doing music videos. That's just not my thing. Movies and television was something that would have been fun to do, but like I said, I graduated when I was 30 years old from film school, and I did not have the luxury to work for free. I had to start working and making an income right away. And when I found corporate video production, I kind of landed on that accidentally, and I can give you some highlights of how I got that job too, how I got into corporate video production versus another thing. It wasn't my very first foray into paid video production. My first was like sports instructional videos, and so that was interesting. That was fun. All right, but this is introduction to who I am, and we'll see how the next one goes. Looking forward to the next video.